So we're talking about, what do you do? Where do you start when you just feel bad? And there's going to be a few key components to this, and I'm going to walk you through the process. But the most important is that we want to try to let go of any judgment of the feeling, right? Bad means something negative, something uncomfortable, something you don't want to feel because it's a negative sensation in the body. And that's really what you're feeling right now. So we're going to work hard to change this word from bad into a much more specific, much more awareness-raised term. And that's going to be the key, is raising awareness about, how do you really feel? What's the depth in which you feel? And so we're going to start with a simple acronym. This is the best place to start if you're feeling bad, but you're not really sure how you're feeling. That acronym is HALT, H-A-L-T. Now, we typically use this with teenagers and children, but we find that us as adults, we have very similar tendencies. So we start with this acronym HALT, and that stands for, are you hungry? Are you angry? Are you lonely? Or are you tired? Now, you can see on the ends, the hunger and the tired are two very physical symptoms. When you're in a state of hunger or in a state of fatigue, you're going to be compromised. So things are going to be much more irritable. You're going to start to have more negative thoughts that maybe aren't so rational. And you're also, when you're in a state of hunger, maybe you're going to be hangry. Maybe you're just going to be just more like things are going to irk you, or other insecurities you have are going to be stronger, or anything like that. So in any of these four states, you're going to be compromised in some way. So the hunger and the tired are really easy to take the next step, which is to diagnose something to do. Prescribe yourself something. It might be a nap. It might be a meditation. It might be an unplug for a little bit. Or maybe it's just a sandwich. Now, if you could feel better with just a sandwich, that would be great. The middle two, angry and lonely. So these are two that we're going to take, and we're going to take to the next level. So if you're not feeling hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, I'm going to recommend the next level, which is that we simply just go to Google and we just type in feelings list. Okay? So I'm typing in feeling list now, and what comes up is that you come up with all these lists of emotions. So actually what we want to do is type in negative feelings list. And we're not judging these feelings. I mean, we are on the surface, but that's okay. So we have a negative feelings list. What we're going to do is we're going to click on one of these. Okay? Now here's one from, let's find one here from, this is from, what's the website? Harvard Business Review. Okay, so we've got a list of emotions. There's kind of 6 umbrella emotions, and then 5 of them that are negative, and then a bunch of a list. And so what we're going to do is identify the differentiation and why this is important. Because once you get more specific about how you're feeling, it becomes very, very intuitive with what you do about it. So right now we have the headings of angry, sad, anxious, hurt, or embarrassed. Okay, so now choose your category. So maybe you're feeling sad, okay, just generally sad, okay? And also you may find that you're feeling more than one thing. That's totally okay. Part of this is differentiating different feelings you might be having, because you might be having an inner conflict. But for now, let's stick with the sadness. So let's see if we can find the difference in these words. So we have disappointed, regretful, depressed, paralyzed, pessimistic. Okay, let's take those 5. So a disappointment is very different than a regretful. There's some overlap, but definitely different. Disappointed could be a short-term thing. So if you find that you do feel disappointed, now you can take the next step, which is, what am I disappointed in? But you can see how disappointed and paralyzed are very, very different. Or maybe you do feel paralyzed because you're disappointed in some way. Paralyzed meaning you feel stuck. You feel like you're in between a rock and a hard place. You feel powerless. You feel like there's not a decision you can make. So once you identify more specifically here, and you see, it starts to become more intuitive. Now you know, well, what am I disappointed about? What do I feel paralyzed in? We want to zoom out while we're doing this exercise and just try to get specific about it. So if you're paralyzed because you feel like you're in a romantic relationship where you're giving and giving, but you don't feel like you guys are having the same conversations and he's not giving back, and you feel paralyzed in that way, then you can take the next step. So you've gotten specific about what you feel paralyzed about. Now the next step would be, what's a course of action I can take that I haven't taken already? Or what's a course of action I can take that has worked for me already? So if I feel paralyzed about my relationship, maybe you can get specific about why. So I feel like we're having this same conversation over and over again, and so nothing changes. So you can get really intentional about, how can I facilitate some change? Should we organize a date night? Can I go see a counselor? Should I talk to a trusted friend about it? Do you talk to your coach about it? Finding a way to to break this stuck feeling in some way. And you'll find that once you brainstorm with an open mind, now you've gotten more in depth with how you feel. And now you feel like you're empowering yourself by looking at, hey, there are options. So maybe that feeling of paralyzation just starts to lift a little bit. Maybe that feeling of stuckness starts to go away. It's very, very innate and intuitive in us of what to do when we've identified what's going on. And so just being with that part of you can be extraordinarily useful in stopping that feeling that just started out as generally bad. Now, a couple caveats running through this process. List everything you feel and deal with it one by one, because those are very different parts of you. The part of you that feels paralyzed is definitely the part of you that feels nervous, or definitely different than the part of you that feels offended or irritated or jealous or betrayed. Once you get that feelings list and you list that out, honor those feelings by spending time with each one of them, doing the process that we just talked about. The prescription for feeling paralyzed may be different than the prescription you write for feeling irritated or offended or spiteful or frustrated, right? So this is a really beautiful way to honor everything you're feeling and take care of all this stuff. Now, here at Inner Solutions, we really promote that you're not one thing. And when you have these different feelings in you that just grow and mesh together to feel this feeling of bad, we want you to know that to detangle that and understand what's going on and be more in touch with yourself, so that when you start to feel a little irritable, when you start to feel a little paralyzed, you're much more able to identify it and rectify the situation and what it needs. And look, situations will need a large spectrum of action, whether it's a small action like eating a sandwich because you're hungry, to a large action like going to see a counselor because your relationship is falling apart. But just know that starting with this bad feeling and empowering yourself by identifying and then figuring out an action that you can take is one of the strongest things you can do for you, your life, and for your mental health. So beyond that, I just want to thank you for being here. My name is Jim again from Inner Solutions. Please like and subscribe this channel. If there's any videos that you want made or any questions you might have, you can comment below, or you can email us at hello@innersolutions.academy. And the most important thing is, remember, no matter where you are, no matter how long it's been going on, no matter how bad you feel, you're never stuck. You might just need some support. Thank you so much. Lots of love.